Hey, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? How are you guys doing? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with this inspirational morning talk. For first-time listeners, I'm on at 8:45 a.m. Central Time. That's our time here in Houston. So, guys, still not a great day. Not a great day. A little cold here in Houston this morning. We're down, I think, in the 30s out there, but we're gonna rise right up in the high of 50s today. But anyhow, man, this is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday. I'm going to leave you with something a little motivational to get you into the weekend to think about for the weekend. And we're going to talk about the law of inclusion, to talk about the law of inclusion, right? This is a serious one here. And that's why we're saying we don't need to worry with revenge or anything because these laws, guys, is going to take care of things. And that's what I was trying to make people to understand. These laws are laws that's going to play out. And once we understand about laws, it gets you a better understanding of how things work, right? And like I said, a law is a law. A law don't care if you believe in it or not. Like as I always use the example, the law of gravity. You don't have to be turning. Gravity gonna work regardless if you respect it or not. Gravity is for keeping us here on Earth. We don't have to think about it. Good morning, Jillian. We don't have to think about it. It's just gonna work, right? So these laws of life, this technology we're using here, it's not that men get so brilliant. All they did is figure out the laws of the waves, how the stuff work, and the telephone and all of that. Is a law and it's so consistent, right? It's consistent. When you figure out the law now, how something work, how we do science and all that and all these laws, once we figure out the law, how this stuff work, it's a done deal. It's a wrap. It's going to be consistently giving you that consistent output, right? Because it's laws, and that's just how these spiritual laws work too, guys. So once you understand it like that, you can make life a little simpler for yourself and things, and you understand how things work, right? So let's look at this law of inclusion here and see how it works. That's why God telling people, don't worry to take revenge and all of that. Don't worry to take revenge. I got laws to take care of things down there, right? So here this law of inclusion said. It said, if you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. If you set in a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. If you roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead, guys. So this law is saying, if you set in trap for people, you want to tell lies on them, you go behind their back, you're setting them up at the job to get a promotion in front of them or in some team or whatever it is, in the church, whatever it is. You're trying to set this trap to make this person look bad, to get ahead of them. Whatever's the trap you're trying to set for them. But it's not right. They're saying you can get catch in that same trap that you set in, right? And you see this play out. Many of you guys probably see this play out already. You get catching the same trap you're trying to set for others. So that's why God is saying, don't worry with revenge, man. You don't get your hands dirty and trying to do something, setting a trap back for them, because this same law gonna work against you too. This is a lie. It's going to work on them too. So he's saying, don't worry about the thing. Little Tom Wiles, good morning, big bro. Tony, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. So the law is saying, if you set in a trap for others, you're going to fall into the same trap. Let's look at the next one. Psalm 7:15 and 16. Psalm 7:15 and 16. It said, they dig a deep pit to trap others, then fall into it themselves. They dig a deep pit to trap others, then fall into it themselves. The trouble they make for others backfire on them. The violence they plan fall on their own heads. So we're saying, man, you're going to see right through this law here, right through the Bible. It's talking about this here. Psalms 9:15. It said, the nations have fallen into the pit they dug for others. The nations have fallen into the pit they dug for others. Their own feet have been caught in the trap they're set. Their own feet has been caught in the trap they're set. Let's look at the next one. Psalms 57:6. Psalms 57:6. My enemies have set a trap for me. My enemies have set a trap for me. I am weary from distress. They have dug a deep pit in my path, but they themselves have fallen into it. You're going to see this law throughout the Bible here in different situations, right? So, but you may or may not achieve your objective. You may, the trap you set may or may not achieve your objective. Sometimes you may achieve your objective, but it's going to come right back to you. The same trap you set for others, you're going to fall into the same trap. It's not before long when you're going to be falling into the same trap, guys. So I'm saying, once we understand these laws here, it can make life a little more simple. You understand how things work. So you're not going to be stressing yourself out over a lot of things. Because you know these laws gonna take effect whether you believe them or not. Right? And that's why the people who going to do iniquity and going to cast spells on others and going to, what they don't understand is this law that's right be at work. The same thing you go into the voodoo man, Obi man, or whoever, Santa Maria, whatever you call it, to do for someone else is the same thing you bring in on your family. Remember, God said this same iniquity that you do, it can come on your third and fourth generation. It's this law here at work. You set the trap for others, and it's going to come right back like a boomerang. And you know, the harder you throw it, it's the same speed it's coming back, right? That's what they say with a bullet. If you shoot a gun up in the air, the same speed the bullet left the gun when it go to its highest point and it coming back down, when it come back down to the point where you are, it's coming back down at the same speed that it left the gun with. Now let us sink in. So if you dig in a pit for others, be careful. You dig in a pit for others, no, you're going to fall into that same pit. It's a law. Let's look at this story quick, because you know in the Bible, give you these laws, all these stories in the Bible, so we think, oh, it's just a nice little story. You know, no, it's laws embedded in these stories, and we got to find those laws and see what's trying to teach us. Let's look at this story quick. I'm going to sum it up quick. Remember the story in Queen Esther? Remember the story in Queen Esther with this guy, Haman? He was the second in charge of the king. And, you know, this guy, Mordecai, who was the queen's uncle, Esther, he had helped her to get to the queen, become queen and stuff like that. And then this guy, Haman, so didn't like Mordecai at all, because Mordecai never bowed down to him and give him the respect that others would do. And so he just developed a hatred for this guy, because this guy, he think this guy's not showing him the respect he's due. So he decided, you know what, he's a Jew, and I'm not only going to kill him, but I can kill all the Jews. I'm going to kill all the Jews. So he tell the king, you know, tell a lie to the king. And so that, you know, these Jews don't want to, you know, listen to nothing he's saying, and you know, he should kill all of them. So the king believed in him. He's a second in command. He said, okay, if it's got people out there doing that, let's wipe them out. I agree with that. And the king signed off on the letter. But this guy, Mordecai, had got it. And he told Queen Esther, hey, you got to help us going to the king. Long story short, she tell them to fast and all that. We talk about this story when we're talking about fasting, when she fast and all that, right? So I can fast forward, though. But long story short, Haman was so obsessed with this guy. So he'd build a gallows at his house. A gallows is something where you're going to hang a man on, right? Because he tell himself, okay, at the end of this all, I can request that for the king so I can get Haman himself to hang him. I want to see this man punished right in front of my face. I can hang him on this gallows, and his family and friends tell him, yeah, build it high, build it really high so we could, you know, so you can hang him really good on it. They urge him on to do all that, how high to build it and all right? So we fast forward. We get it just to the story where we're heading now. So Queen Esther had went into the king. She fasted and she went into the king. We pick it up from there. So we pick it from Esther 7. We can read a little portion of 7. So the king and Haman went to dine with Queen Esther, and on the second day at the banquet of wine, the king again said to Esther, what is your petition, Queen Esther? It shall be granted you. And what is your request? Up to half the kingdom it shall be done. So the king sends after she fasted, go and say, what do you need from me? What do you need? Remember, No one was supposed to go into the king. He would have died, but she fasted, and the fast softened the king's heart. So he said, well, what you want, right? Then Queen Esther answered and said, I have found favor in your sight, O king. If it pleases the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. The king asked, what are you talking about? You want your life? What is this you talking about? For we have been sold. My people and I have been destroyed, to be killed and to be annihilated. Had we been sold as male and female slave, I would have held my tongue. He's saying, if this petition was just to put us into slavery, I wouldn't do nothing. I would have held my tongue, right? Although the enemy could never compensate for the king's loss, right? She's saying, man, save my life. You king, you know what you're talking about yet. So the king answered and said to Queen Esther, who is he? And where is he who would dare presume in his heart to do such a thing? Who's this man? Who's this wicked man that want to kill you and your people? Who's this man? And Esther said, the adversary, the enemy, is this wicked Haman, this right-hand man that you got. This is the man who planted all this wickedness. So Haman was terrified before the king and queen. Then the king arose in wrath from the banquet of wine and went into the palace garden. The king gets so upset, like, my right-hand man is doing this wickedness. So the king get upset and he went into the garden. But Haman stood before Queen Esther pleading for his life. So he begging the queen, oh, okay. Now he turned around begging for his life. When he set a petition to kill her and all her people, now he's begging for his life, right? See that now? He set the trap. Now he fallen into this own trap that he set. Instead of those people get killed, his life is threatened now to get killed, right? So he pleading for his life, for he saw the evil was determined against him by the king. So he saw when the king gets upset, he knows something bad about to happen. The king can really, really punish him up to death, right? When the king returned from the palace garden to the palace of the banquet of wine, Haman had fallen across the couch where the queen was. Then the king said, will he also assault the queen while I'm in his house? So he's trying to beg the queen, and he probably trip and fall on the queen close to where she was on the thing. So the king said, what? Not only you're doing this wickedness, you want to assault the queen. You want to molest the queen right in front of my eye? You're a madman. The king get more upset now, right? See how things have happened. He didn't do that. He just tripped and fall. But because your wickedness, the trap that you set, you're going to fall into it, all right? As the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Now Harbona, one of the eunuchs, said to the king, look, the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who spoke good on the king's behalf, is standing at the house. Because the Mordecai had saved the king's life. He heard some men had plotting against the king. And he tell the king what these men was plotting. The king investigated and realized it was true. So that's what they're saying. He spoke good on behalf of the king. And this man was trying to kill him. So the men said, oh, they got a gallows right to this house we built for this man. Right? Then the king said, hang him on it. So they hang Haman on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. The same gallows he built to hang this man on, he was hanged on it. So the nice big and spikes that he put in it when he hang him, this spike, however he built it to punish this man, guess who was hanged on the same gallows? And guess who felt all what he was trying to do to the man? He himself. And the Bible just shows us this law at work here. If you set a trap for others, Proverbs 26:27, and many, many more, if you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. You roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead, guys. So these are laws. Once we understand these laws, guys, it can make things easier for us. So don't set trap for others. Don't set trap. That's why he said love your enemies. Pray for your enemies. Don't set trap for them. Pray for them. They do wrong against you, you pray for them. Don't get your hands dirty, because the law gonna work against you also if you start to set trap for them. The same law, what's gonna get them? It's gonna get you also. The law is not gonna say, "Oh well, he acting in revenge, man. He deserved to set a trap for them." You see, they set the same trap for him, so it's no problem if they lie on you. You could go back and lie on them. The same law can get you, because the law don't care what's the reason you're doing it. The law don't care if it's a criminal, a thief, a pope, a pastor, what. The law of gravity is protecting all of us. It don't care your status. It's protecting all of us. So same way, even the thief man going thief, gravity still protecting him and keeping him on this earth here. If you drop the gold from, he's stealing something and he's on the rooftop and you want to drop it down and jump down behind it and get it and run away, gravity is still working in his favor. Not because the stolen item, the item can just stay and float away and I'll float away from him. No, he drop it, he jump down, he pick it up and he run, gravity still working for him. Same way with these laws. The law don't care why you're doing it, but they can work against you. So that's what he's saying. Don't set traps. You pray for your enemies. Got these laws already set in motion to take care of them, guys. Have a great, great weekend, guys, and we'll talk again on Monday. Okay, bye.